has been a Pro Series champion. He has been a Pairs Cup champion. He has now been to 2 World Finals, lost out in the World Final a few weeks ago to Ronan McCarthy. And that doesn't really tell the full story. I commentated on the final. Carl Sutton played a flawless match. He did not make a single mistake in a World Final and lost. I wonder how he feels about that as he looks back on it.
It's one of those that's it's going to hurt for a little while. I think even now he'd probably still be thinking about it a little bit. But the reality is, I think in any other final, if you're making mistakes, it hurts that little bit more. But in reality, he did absolutely nothing wrong. Ronan was just stellar in that final. You know, it's not something we've seen a lot of Ronan do in the last 18 months. But what he was able to do was just find the gear when he needed it.
Yeah, amazing, really. He ended up getting more chances. Ronan actually made more mistakes, which was only 2, I think, maybe 3 in the whole match, but found a gear, got the chances, and just turned a huge deficit around. And it was a staggering match, just of the highest quality between the two of them. And Carl Sutton, as wounded as he can be from that final, should take a huge amount of confidence, because, I mean, he was fantastic, not just in the final, but the whole tournament and the team tournament as well.
I mean, Carl's got a huge character, and you've seen it yesterday. You know, once again, he had a bit of a hurdle against someone like Kevin George, who's a very good amateur, and very, very lightly went over that. And playing someone like Josh obviously is a bit of a bigger test, but Carl will be up for the challenge. He's a very routine professional in terms of the fact that he's not very emotionally involved a lot of the time. He will just crack on and get on with the job at hand.
A bit short on that previous positional shot, just limited his options, so having to accept distance. Looks like he's eyeing up the plant from distance as well. This is high tariff tester early in the match here for Carl Sutton.
It's just a little off straight, so he's just got to be careful not to lose the white here if he's going to play the plant at the 2. Oh, he's played that lovely, but he's sat on the red.
Had to pull that back for me. I know what he's thinking. If I drop it in, I've got red to right centre. But how does he get on the one that he's next to now?
When you play that with backspin, obviously you're pumping the second red a little bit more, and I think he was probably worried it was going to rattle, which can happen a lot playing down the rails at pace. So I think
probably accepted he was going to get the double then.
Yeah.
Rather play the double than play the plant with pace and risk missing it that way. Got to watch the cue ball on this shot as well. Easy to overrun this cue ball. He's not going to make the double. He would have been on the 8 ball.
I'm just wondering if Josh maybe has a big pocket past that red. It looks tight. If he does, then I'd definitely be using a yellow that's below the cue ball now to just get rid of that issue straight away. If not, it makes the clearance a lot more tricky. I think he's been a little bit unlucky there. Just that yellow sitting on the 8 ball. It's just probably landed in the one position where he hasn't got a pot on. It's obviously got the yellow into the right middle. One thing it does do, though, where the yellow sat, is just giving him a bit more of a hiding place. That if he wanted to play a loss of turn now, he could potentially screw the white up to the bottom end of the table and not leave Carl a shot.
Extension called.
I'm a little bit unsure there what Josh was trying to do. He's not got a bad angle for the loss of turn, but the red just sitting slightly on the bottom jaw makes it harder to get the contact he requires to knock the ball in from the angle he's at. So this does need to be played well. It's obviously just settled. And back to Carl not to make the pot, being able to see the 8 ball, which is understandable where that 8 ball's lying. I think I always just like that little bit of extra security though, just not knowing your opponent can't see the ball, and knowing that even if he gets out of it, he's got to try and get it safe. Just adds to the tariff of the shot a little bit more. But interesting to see what Carl does here. That's pretty good, isn't it?
He'll take that. He'll take that. He's basically forcing Josh to stand up and make a shot here. The only caveat to that is if the 8 ball doesn't pass the yellow to bottom right corner, he has safety options, but I'm pretty sure it does. He's going to have to stand up and make 3 shots. Well, if he gets nicely on an 8 ball, it'd be simple, but top left, bottom right, going to be tough. Step 1.
Yeah, this one's a bit tougher because he's just off straight. It's one of these that you've got to be able to cue it to get the cue ball out and leave yourself a nicer 8 ball.
Beautiful. That is very, very good. Start the match. Played those 2 shots in nice ways as well. Didn't try and do too much to make the second one easier, which it was going to be hard to do because if he tries to get better, he's probably going to get worse. And he gave that every chance to go in, dragged it in. Fantastic 3 shots.
It was a good contact, good split. Balls came flying up the table, but nothing doing. Yeah, very unlucky not to make a ball, but it is going to bring Josh to the table. Reds would be the perfect layout, but just where that red sat in front of the 8 ball, it's just made his life a little bit harder. Maybe looking off of this first red to potentially go for the 8 ball and get a cannon, because if you hit the 8 ball right, you actually leave yourself on the lower red of the 2 that are together towards bottom left. Don't mind this either. He's just flicked one of them on to the top right. Just got to make sure he doesn't overcomplicate this too much. Trying to get that ball out. Is he maybe thinking of flicking off of either the red or the 8? Or is he thinking plant? Oh, I mean, that was tough. Yeah, it wasn't completely off angle. He's going to bring Carl to the table, but just been a little bit lucky in the fact that he's hampered Carl's opening ball, almost Chinese snookered him on it. And once again, it's another frame that's looking really scrappy. Carl got caught out a bit there by the buzzer. Has it reached? Yes, it has. But we are approaching the 30-minute mark already, and I think if you'd said to the 2 boys that it would only be 1 apiece at this point, they'd probably be quite surprised. But the layout of the balls really dictates these things, and Oh, that's a great shot. Oh, has he been a bit unlucky? Have the two yellows covered each other into the left middle? Obviously the top one cuts back. Got to be a bit careful with his cue ball here. This isn't easy to judge. He's played it beautifully. I think Carl's obviously just decided with where the layout of the yellows were compared to the reds that he may as well just give it a go and go for it. Is he going to try and leave himself a double on the final yellow? I don't really see a way he can land on it. I don't think it goes to the top left. Yeah, that angle suggests he's going to try and leave a double. Or is he maybe looking to see if he can come off the right-hand side cushion and flick it in off the red? Because it would also open up the pocket for the 8-ball. Yeah, that's where he's gone. It's maybe got a little bit more angle than he would have wanted, but it's still pretty good. You feel like all he's got to do is make a good half ball, quarter ball contact and should make its way into that top right corner, but just needs to judge it off the cushion right. Oh, this has been another brilliant finish from Carl Sutton. Yeah, Josh had the opening opportunity in that frame. He had the balls roughly where he wanted them, just couldn't quite remove that red from where the 8-ball was. Eventually gets a ball to drop. He seemingly didn't want to, but as you see there, just gets a kick off a red. And if he can get to the yellow over the bottom left, this isn't too bad. Just needs to get the cue ball out again a little bit. Yeah, that's good. That yellow does pass into the top right. So he's opted for top left, that's also fine. Now can play down the table towards the rest of his work. Oh, Carl. Wow. That was a complete miss-hit. Just trying to get a bit more into that and get it to hit the cushion a lot lower than that. Needs to make a ball. Oh no. Oh no. He got close to a few pockets, but nothing doing. And the layout's not bad either here for Carl. Still working areas. There's that yellow's just below the 8 ball. I think does pass into the right hand middle, but needs to be landed on. The yellow next to the red towards the left middle just needs to be worked out as well. Don't think that just pots directly, so work to do. He may try and get rid of one of those problems here though. Just top through and flick this red below the middle, exactly like so. And it's an interesting predicament here, actually. Obviously, the referee's decided that there won't be another frame to play after this. My mistake, there are 12 frames to play in this session, not 13, so this will be the last one played in the session regardless. But Carl's just got to work out here how he's dealing with these two. This red just below the yellow he's playing now can play big with this next shot. He's played it really well. Maybe slightly straighter than he wanted to be, but can just drop these next couple in and be fine on that 8 ball. He's not happy with it. Just going into this 8 ball slightly, I think. Oh, he's judged it pretty well. And it's fair to say if Carl Sutton knocks this 8 ball in, it's a fair reflection, I feel, of the first session. Carl just having a couple more opportunities and being that slight bit more clinical. Josh has done well to keep himself in the match, but he will have an uphill task going into the next session. Carl Sutton is going to be 8-4 ahead. We'll be back with you in just a minute for the next round of 32 match. Yeah, Ronan going for that cut break now. Yeah, makes a ball, makes 2 balls.
Didn't seem to hit that brilliantly, but he'll take the outcome.
Yeah, I mean, Ronan's not one of the players that's blessed with cue power. It's got to be said. He's not going to be a Tom Cousins or a Jack Whelan that's going to hammer through the pack. But what you do guarantee a lot with Ronan's breaks is that cueing side. Just making sure that he gets nicely through the balls. So maybe the split isn't always as big, but it's more likely to just kind of guarantee the ball. Oh no. Tried to pot that with rakes of side to Land nicely on this red to the top. Nothing doing, an opportunity for Jordan.
I spoke to Jordan before he played Ronan in the World Championships. Spent quite a lot of time with Jordan during the Worlds as well. I asked him what his record against Ronan was like. It's so difficult to tell. We can look back and we know the records for Ultimate Pool, but we can't. There's so many tournaments that records aren't kept on, so it's so difficult to have that full kind of body of work, if you like. But he felt he had a really good record against him, and without knowing it and without statistics, I thought that wasn't going to be the case. I just felt, I know they've played a lot of times, I've commentated on them a lot of times, but just felt that the matchup, I think Ronan's one of those players that can really frustrate Jordan. It's a really, I think, poor matchup for Jordan. You can see the way he buzzes around the table. He doesn't like it when a player is, he doesn't necessarily, I'm not talking about being a slow player, because Ronan isn't a slow player, but a player that is more than happy to slow down and take his time and be tactical. Ronan's got the all-round game. He'll go toe-to-toe on the finishes if they're there, but he'll turn it down and play safe. Sheppy wants to go play against players that just want to go up against him and go finish for finish, and doesn't have that with Ronan.
Do you know what? It's quite interesting, actually. I know Jordan's been doing a lot of work on his mentality. He works with Noel Flannery outside of kind of the Ultimate Pool world, and with Jordan now being 3-1 ahead, Jordan knows in his own mind that he's just got to hold his serve, and obviously off of his break, so long as he makes a ball like he does there, he can play this frame a bit more on his own terms. Okay, 8 ball's not come out for him, and there is a bit of work either way, but
I think it's the same thing though. It's not as hard as the previous one, but it's still low percentage, and I think he's still going to take it on. It's actually nowhere near as much work. It all depends on the red left centre. If the red left centre goes, then all the reds are fine. It's just the 8 ball, and you do have a good breaker ball.
I think he might try and break it out here if it's on the cushion. He's got a decent angle where he could potentially kind of top into it. Play it with a bit more pace, you can guarantee yourself to be on the red to the top left.
Oh, that bump helped him.
Oh, that has it though.
Well, it has, because if the red goes into the 8 ball, you've made a mess. It's still fine. Worst way, he'll get a double on the 8 ball here with this layout. And that may be the best option, because he now needs to go left centre with the one underneath his arm, or top right.
Yeah, I like what he's done there. He's played to the side cushion to...
He wanted actually to be a couple of rolls off, because if he gets a couple of rolls off, he can play the breakout on the 8 ball at the same time, but he now has a... I do expect him to get to the double. I really do. I thought he was going to go up the right-hand side, because you got the right-hand side, you got top left gets you to right centre, to left centre, and that guarantees you being on the double.
I mean, he might have the option here. I don't know if he's got the right angle or not, but he could potentially play the breakout with the final ball and kind of just double the 8 out. Yeah, that looks like what he's going for, because he's left himself wide here. This, once again, needs to be judged nicely. He's got to kind of catch this half ball. The white will hold on the yellow above it. This is another great finish from Jordan.
It really is. Those 2 on the trot, starting to separate a little bit for the Kansas City Open and the Kansas City Shootout, and he'll be a really good chance there as well. But it's picking and choosing the right times to go and do things like that, and focusing on the right areas when he needs to.
Time allocation is so important for a top-level pool player. Obviously, there's so many different loyalties in pool, there's so many different forms of the sport that finding that balance is so tough to do, and it's why only 3 or 4 of the best players in the world have managed to achieve it thus far.
Yeah.
And why players like Shane, that are world-class in some formats of the sport, still can't achieve it.
Yeah, and I'm not being critical of anyone that's gone. I understand the rewards in China are quite staggering, and I understand that completely. So I'm not. It's not me digging anyone else. I'm just the statement of intent from Jordan to say that the World Championships means more to him than that particular tournament in China.
Yeah, this is a big frame now for Ronan. You feel it's been zoned out, shut out really for the last 2-3 frames. Needs to get a foothold back.
He's got very recent history at winning big games from behind, though. The World Final against Carl Sutton.
I wonder what game that is.
That is very fresh in the memory for Ronan McCarthy and everybody that was there and that would have watched it. What was it at the break? 7-3 at the break?
Yeah.
And he just came out after the break and found a gear. Reiterate my point, Carl Sutton did not make a mistake in the World Final and he lost.
Yeah, I suppose that's the only advice for Jordan, is it? Don't break dry.
Yeah.
This isn't easy though. I think this yellow does pass into the bottom left, the one that's higher of the two reds. He's obviously opted against that.
Quite clever the way he played that. Could have done with the yellow just tracking, what, an extra roll up the table just to guarantee himself a good angle to get across for the one on the cushion, which will be his last ball. Oh, he's got room to get to that angle anyway, so it had just gone far enough. That was such a clever developing shot. Knew he was playing into the red to pop the yellow. Pace control was lovely.
Ooh, wow, I thought that was going to bounce out on him, but it's fine. It wanted to.
It tried to, didn't it? Worst feeling for a pool player, that. You've all seen it happen.
Yeah, it's been very good from Ronan. Great response.
That's why he's a two-time world champion. Doesn't get phased, doesn't get rattled. It's why he's arguably the greatest money match player of all time. Don't think he hit it quite as well as the previous one, but the result is good. It's not a bad strike by any means.
Yeah, it just kind of slipped off the pack a little bit, didn't it? But yeah, I mean, the split's great. If you needed to go and win a frame, this isn't a bad layout to have. I feel like with yellows, he's probably one positional shot away. If he just pots this one to the bottom right and lands nicely on one of the balls to the middle, you feel like he's out. With reds, it's a little bit more a case of working out the traffic. So that's why he's going to go yellows. Is he short here? I think it's...
He is. He has a backup plan. Certainly not what he wanted. If he gets straight in right centre, it's frame over.
Yeah.
That was the ball to land on. Now he still has to find a window. It doesn't have to be right centre. He could get on one to bottom right corner and do it that way around. But if he had landed straight in right centre, it really would have been frame over.
Yeah. Still not quite landed nice here, so this feels a bit more like the last chance saloon shot to get that good position. Yeah, needs to land nice here. Has he got the gap? Definitely not where he wanted to be. Oh, he's been lucky. That didn't mean that flick on the red.
Still not absolutely guaranteed here, because the red that's in between the yellow and the 8-ball plays huge, and he plays one yellow to get on the next yellow.
I think that's why he's taking it to top corner, yeah, because he can just roll this through.
Yeah, very good. Still hasn't.
Yeah.
It's been one of those visits where he's not put the cue ball where he wanted to at all the whole way through. If he gets the first shot right, it's as simple as it gets, and ever since then he's been a couple of turns out. But he is still going to win the frame, and he's going to keep himself very much in touching distance. Simple 8-ball for a 2-frame deficit. It brings brings an end to a fascinating session of pool. The world champion keeps himself alive against the man he beat in the world semi-final.
All good, mate.
And from the opening session, Cole played really strong. There was real signs that he's carried that form through that he had when he was at the World Championships. So he made the final, was ousted by a prime Ronan McCarthy. As for Josh did really well in the early part of the match just to kind of hold in with Carl. And at 4-3 it felt like Carl was going to start getting a bit frustrated. But in the end, Carl just kind of loosened the reins a little bit and got 3 to 8-4. Really important now that Josh makes a quick start.
Yeah, he's got to get going early, otherwise it could be over fairly quickly.
Josh, obviously a big name in the Coventry area, part of a really big threshold of players. Colin Treacy, Christy Caulfield and John McAllister have all lived and dealt in that part of the world. Phil Parkin as well, alongside Matt Peel, obviously were part of the Pairs Cup just a couple of weeks ago. Carl obviously from the Lowestoft area, Great Yarmouth. I have a plethora of great players in his area, including the likes of Sean Chipperfield that he obviously pairs up with for the Pairs Cup. But Carl looking to make a quick start here, and this is a good one as well. Played a nice cannon there. Opens up his problem yellow, and I can't really see too many problems from here.
No, he's certainly done his work.
It's all just going to be making sure that he lands nicely on the yellow that he's closest to now. I imagine that's going to be his final ball with the natural route.
Could potentially play it next after the yellow to the middle.
Yeah, well, roll for the gap. Yeah, I prefer that route in all fairness, but is he maybe just a little bit off straight to do that? I don't know. Oh, he has got there. Or has he actually? Has he reached? The overhead looks close. And if he's slightly the wrong side as well, he can't land on the next yellow. Just wanted another half a ball on that and he's probably fine. Whereas now he's actually got to play half a shot. See him there, just a little grimace. So he's really got to dig this now. Oh, he's missed it. Is he fluked it? Oh no. Oh no, what a time. He is going to get out here, and it's a big frame as well. Huge difference between 8-5 and 9-4.
It's the second bit of fortune he's had in the match with the little kiss off the jaw earlier in the first session.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah, like I say, he's in my county side. He's someone you definitely want instead of in the opposition half.
So it's probably amazing to have those figureheads for your county side.
Yeah, both Cole Sutton and Chris Day got them both. Makes a big difference to the rest of the side.
It's not a bad little combo to have, is it? Have your county team ever decided to put them on the reserves list or anything like that?
Nah.
Just yeah.
Thankfully not.
Josh now. What I hope for Josh here now is that obviously it's a long, long way back and he probably won't have aspirations of winning this game anymore. But just free your arm now and just give it a go.
Yeah, you're just saying one frame at a time, aren't you?
Yeah. So as I say, if you start getting towards 12-8, 12-9, you know, you might start to make Carl think a little bit. Josh is a true professional. He's been a professional since the inaugural Ultimate events 4 years ago. Was a previous professional in other formats as well. Former World Masters champion. So, in terms of the billing, he's right up there. And that's a good finish to get one back, 12-6. Even if it takes you an extra couple of turns at the table, just find a way to get the frames you should be getting. I'm not going to sound too critical here because Josh has played some really good stuff in this match, but going forward, that's exactly what he's going to need to do to be able to pick up titles like this. He's already had a great season, and I'm excited to see what he does for the rest of the season. But Carl is going to have the opportunity to wrap this match up.
He's got the gap between the two yellows.
It's handy if he's got that gap, because otherwise he's got a very tricky pot coming up. I wonder if he can play it and avoid the two yellows. If he can land on the one to the right middle straight afterwards. If not, he's got to try and judge a flick to potentially leave a rig close to the one he's playing into the bottom right. Exactly like that. Or has he even got the one in the middle? He's got that even better. If he can pot this and land on the one to the cushion, the only issue now is the A ball. Maybe gone a little bit further than he would have liked. Probably would have wanted that to stop around the blue spot area. In terms of the length of the table, not actually on the blue spot, but just because that transition, the final ball becomes a bit harder to land on the 8. This possession, Josh, you may be looking at the double on the 8 now.
Yes, I was thinking that.
He is looking at playing the 8 long because he's left this so thin, which means that he is going to have to leave it from distance, which is actually a nasty little 8 ball to try and get himself over the line. On the red. This is a nasty little 8 ball, isn't it? You wouldn't want to leave this for the match. Luckily for him, he has got a 6-frame buffer, so it does take the pressure off a little bit, but this 8 ball for the match.
Nope.
Yes. Oh, yeah, it does. And that will be that. Josh Keynes shakes hands with Carl Sutton. You've got to say it was clinical from Carl for 95% of that match. Josh Kane will look back on a couple of missed opportunities, but overall it was Carl Sutton that was the better of the two.
Thanks for joining us, and you join us with an intriguing matchup.
Yeah, we're in the business end now, second half, so we're going to see the conclusion. And yeah, great matchup between these two. As you said, rematch of the semis of the Worlds, and you know, that one was a one-sided affair, but this one's a little different. Solid break there by Jordan, and yeah, he looks nice here to take this opening frame of the second session.
It was what I found it fascinating about the session we had earlier on is that there was a few frames like this where the splits were good. There was also a couple of frames where the splits weren't good, and Ronan was kind of trying to tease Jordan to go, and you knew Jordan wanted to go, and Jordan got a couple of them. That right in the key part of the match, the key part of the session, and Ronan would have sat in his chair happy to see him go, but he got there, and I just thought that was a fascinating little battle. Both players would have been happy to do what they were doing, but Jordan got the edge.
Yeah, he looked to be firing in parts from what I got glimpses of. I was actually talking to Ronan briefly after, and he said to be 7-5 down, he was actually quite relieved. He thought that, you know, Jordan should have been a bit further ahead, so he's going into it, you know, kind of thinking that he has the edge on it, maybe.
Yeah, I think that's a fair call. I think Jordan will feel like 8-4 was the scoreline he should have got to. Was the dominant player in the session, no doubt about it.
He's got a really tricky shot here. He might have to just trickle into the black. Not ideal, but he's got a chance. I think he's going to have to come off the side rail and maybe try track it for the same pocket now. He could have to really dig in deep to this, yeah. But he's coming off around the angles.
Not good.
No. I can't really see a shot here. The cross double's not on, the yellow's on the way.
He had a look to see whether he could go top right, but I don't think you can get there off the cushion first into that.
I think it's the long double. Yeah.
Oh my word. Oh wow.
I think it was going anyway, but the fact that it's flicked it has just made a worse blow for Ronan.
This is some double. I think it was jaw, wasn't it? It was on the jaw. We don't know whether it would have gone in, but the
Ronan going for the cup break. He's hit it very well. Now for either the plant, or he could take the red long. No, he's going to settle for the plant. I thought if he had it come up a bit more and towards the cushion, he could have left him. He could have got rid of the problem ball straight away then.
the problem ball being the one nearest the sort of left centre pocket, the ball you're talking about, come across and take that top right.
Yeah. It's just that the red's blocking it above it, so he has to take that out before it, or he has to try and play it down to the left bottom now, or also up to the top right, but it's just that little extra trickier than the others. Still fine here.
If he gets to around the straight on the yellow, the red to left centre, he could still play to take it top right like you originally suggested.
Yeah, anything but too low on it. I think he's... Yeah, he's pretty straight on this now. Even a touch high on it would have been perfect.
Yeah, so that he doesn't have to... He can get to the cushion then and know he's going to be fine. I've just made that a bit more of a touchier shot, but he's played it okay.
Yeah. Just stun it out into the middle of the table now. And it looks to be perfect pool so far this session. Ronan still hanging in, as he always does. I have to scrape him off the table. Ooh.
Oh, now he's got a problem.
This is very tricky. This requires excellent queuing. The fact that it's just a touch off the yellow makes a massive difference. If that was touching, it'd be a hell of a lot harder than what it already is. Ah, he's hit brilliant. 10 out of 10.
Very good shot indeed. Survives a slight issue. He is going to make it 4 straight break clearances to start this session. Great standard between these two. Once the top half is done.
Is it played down to the semis today?
Play down half the quarters. So
okay.
We're going to see the first tonight. We'll be back and we'll see all 4 first sessions of the quarterfinals.
Okay.
The matches will be left overnight. We'll be back for the second sessions tomorrow morning.
Right. So who's your money on, Simon? I'm going to put you on the spot.
It's tricky, isn't it? I think you expect the cream to rise. So I've been saying Tom through the tournament, but he's just gone 11-11. Jake's just won a frame, so he's in a best of 3 against Jake for a place in the last 16, but he's been the best player in the world for a while now, and it's a deep race, so you kind of have to
That's a
fancy
careless
Tom.
shot by Jordan there. Pushing the yellow on to hold the red now. Doesn't go into any pockets, I don't think. So he has to go into that now. And that requires developing balls and moving them that you don't really want to be doing. But he's got a nice angle now to go straight into it. Just has to miss the yellow here. It's not quite straightforward because he could just snick it. Anything but a decel. Yeah, see. Unless he hasn't played that, has he? No.
It can't have done.
No, but I think he can go into it now because he can pinch the pocket here to go straight into it, so he's gotten away with it.
If he did play it, then he could only have felt that he couldn't get the line he was looking for, and he was going to miss what he wanted, and therefore was getting a better angle to come into it again. Now he's going to have a problem getting from the one at the bottom to the one at the top.
Yeah, I think anything straight or low, just a touch low here, because he can reverse screw back it.
He's just off straight the wrong way. He's going to have to load this up. He's more than just off straight actually, but the high angle doesn't help.
No, I think he has to play a loaded deep reverse screw here.
Well, he's looking at the 4 cushions, but that was not on already, was it? He didn't have quite enough angle to go the 4 cushions. He didn't have enough angle to deep screw with reverse, which is what he tried, and he's nowhere. First mistake in the session for Jordan Shepherd, and it's not that shot that's the mistake, it's the shot earlier on when he didn't get the cannon, or he nudged the ball safe that he then had to cannon.
Can he get by the yellow to play jaws first? Because if he catches that clean, there's every chance. Off. Yeah, I'd say that would have bothered Ronan a bit if he had gotten that finish. Well, without snookering himself there, just in general, because he's been running into trouble and getting away with it. And Ronan being such a purist of a pool player, playing all the right shots and doing minimal movement, yeah, it can be quite annoying at times looking at it happen in front of you.
Ronan just doesn't give anything away. He would have just sat there and seen it all before, playing Jordan many, many times. Gets to the table to make it a 2-frame game again.
Yeah, and he's got the attitude to back it up. You know, he's very stoic.
Yeah.
So, you know, he doesn't get flustered in the moment, and that's one of his strongest attributes. And it's one that you really need in this game. And it stands to him. Snick back here, pretty well travelling, but yeah, massive area to play into. Just screw in behind it. Ooh, wiped its feet. And just run this down now to the bottom cushion to just leave himself nicely to go back up the table. Just wants to run it along the cushion now, back up the table. And yeah, that's the first mistake really by Jordan in this second session, so
He keeps it tight, keeps it within a 2-frame game.
13 to 2 on Jake, and he's got a good record over Tom, I've heard.
Yeah,
Or he's beaten him a few times. So.
He's been playing really high level for a good period of time.
Another crunch from Jordan.
He's not really on anything too nicely.
Lost the cue ball slightly there, wasn't as straight down the middle as the others, but
Does have
no damage done.
Does have an option on yellows. Does he have an option on reds? Tricky plant, maybe? I don't even think. No, I don't think that's on.
I think it
Might
could
be.
Yeah, no, I think it is on, but I don't think he's gonna go. I think he wants to finish this match out now, and he'll take his medicine.
That's a beautiful shot.
Yeah, and he can just touch this into the middle now and leave himself the angle to get right back down the table. Yellow goes by the red into the bottom pocket, I believe. Screwing off the side cushion here and trying to bring it back over to the other side for the little snick into the middle. Now he's just going to drop it and take it to the middle. Does he have the angle? I think he does.
Perfect.
I think he's spot on. Yeah, and I think this is curtains. Really good performance here from Jordan.
Don't try and do too much, just getting it back a turn just to be on the 8 ball. This is the 8 ball for the match. Just has to dig it to avoid the in-off, which he does just about in the end. It is a brilliant performance. The world champion bows out at the hands of Jordan Shepherd. He's just beaten Dom Cooney to book his place in this round. 13-7 he won that one. John Chipperfield also won 13-7, but his was over Dylan Leary. And it'll be Sean Chipperfield with the first opportunity. And I'm joined by Luke Terry on commentary, who's still looking sharp as ever.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's an interesting one, this. I think it's actually quite similar to the game where we kind of spoke about Ryan and Scott yesterday. I feel like these two are very evenly matched, even though they've both got very different playing styles. Sean is obviously pretty, I suppose the word would be gun-ho in the way he plays. He's kind of get down, sees the shot, plays it straight away. Christoph's that more calculated type that isn't frightened to take an extra couple of seconds on a shot if he needs to. But one thing that you did note on Sai actually recently, having watched Christoph play, was just that he's added that little bit extra pace into his game.
Yeah, there's no doubt he's playing quicker. I think he realised that was an element he had to work on. It's not easy for him, but he's worked on that. Has more speed in his game. Nobody has more speed in their game than Sean Chipperfield, though. He walks around the table slowly and plays at the quickest pace on tour.
Well, I'm sure, obviously, where they've noted the fact that you don't have to run around like a lunatic is probably in favour of Christoph, because if anybody could run around like a lunatic, it's going to be Sean Chipperfield.
But he doesn't. The reason he plays so quick is, look at this, down hit. There's no feathering, it's just down point shoot. He was so consistent. He never lost to anybody that wasn't a top player. The problem he's got right now is that he's playing probably inconsistently by his own admission, but also he's only ever playing top players because the standard's so deep with Ultimate on the pro scene. So it's he hasn't quite had the breakthrough, but he's gone close, couple of finals.
That's another great break from Christoph. Looking at his route. There is a way with reds, I suppose. If he just rolls into the yellow below, putting this one in the middle, get rid of the one that's sat on the yellow there, potentially land on the one that's on the cushion towards the bottom left with the next shot.
Quite a bit of traffic in the way, but you can make a case that every red does have a pocket.
Yeah, and I think what helps as well actually is that he doesn't need to be right behind the yellow, the red that's on the left-hand side, because that yellow I think is offering him a bigger pocket. That being the case, yeah, I'm not surprised to see Christoph change his route a little bit here and try and land on it now, which is exactly what he's done. Because of the wide angle, he might even use the yellow that's towards the bottom of the line you see in the middle of the table, just to hold the white. Exactly like so. Lovely shot. So I think he can just drop this in the left middle pocket. Worst case scenario, even if he can't, he can take it long. He is taking it long. Very good. High, might just drop this in and take the 8 long. Just don't want to overcompensate trying to hold the white on this. Little bit further than he would have liked. He's hampered on this yellow. This is a tough 8 ball now. But already it's a big shot. He's going to be going top left with it. Christoph just setting himself there. 8 ball for 4-1. Brilliant. Brilliant finish from Christoph Lambert there. I like to go out and just kind of have a bit of a mooch around wherever I am and see what's going on. Christoph's obviously an avid fan of music, loves walking around with the earphones in and kind of bopping along whatever he's doing, getting in the zone. It's another good break. This time the layout's not quite as nice, just a bit of traffic. And a slightly awkward opening shot to get good position. I think he would have loved reds, but he's not got a nice opener by any stretch. So he is opting for yellows. Not ideal. Can pot the yellow into the bottom right along the cushion, which could give him better position, but he has just tied one of the yellows up slightly as well. Is he maybe going to cut this into the top right and clash into those 2 yellows again? I think so.
It's not terrible.
I think if that yellow's close enough to the pocket, he can just plant the 2.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be too worried about that. I think as in he'll be comfortable enough with that shot. It's not easy, but expecting to make it, which he has.
Yeah. Had enough access to always be on the yellow to the bottom right. It's just going to be about now how you get across for the one on the right-hand side cushion. Because I think he's slightly off angle here to land nice on the one over the middle. Oh, he did do well. Just put it into the thick side of the pocket. Ooh, maybe another roll.
Little jabby one, wasn't it? But job done.
Pretty good, that. Oh, no, not kicked it off. How big was that as well?
Sean's ready to walk out the arena. He knows this is the final frame of the session.
Look at that, 1, 2, 3.
It was going in off anyway, but that should make it 6-6. Easy for me to say from the commentary box. Big visit for Christophe Lambert. It feels like a fair result from the session, in all honesty, 6-6, because Christophe was brilliant at the start of the match. He's made one mistake in the match so far to be 6-5 down. If he was 7-5, it would have felt a little bit harsh.
Yeah, I think this has helped Christophe. I think if Sean had just carried on that barrage for the last 2 frames, I actually wouldn't have seen a way back for Christophe, simply for the reason of how big the clearances Sean was putting in was. It would have left Christophe almost in a sense of shock, I think, going into the second session. But Christophe's been able to kind of wrestle back a little bit of the momentum, and now he's got a foothold back in this match, which kind of almost not too dissimilar to the Shepherd-McCarthy game. Ronan needed to get that, never really got it back, whereas Christophe has. And this is just a case of dotting the I's and crossing the T's, but I mean, this has been an incredible session of pool.
Quickest session of ball we've seen. Standard's been electric. Just enough in there for drama. A Christophe mistake. A couple of errors from Sean. Mainly on the break for Sean. But it has been. If we're going to get more of this at 5 o'clock, yes please. This match will conclude at 5 o'clock, and we will see it every single ball. And it's going to finish 6-6. iRobot wins the final 2 frames to make it 6-all, but they are locked at 6-6. It is a race to 13. There are 50 minutes on the match clock, which, the way they've been going so far, is plenty.
I think what's contributed as well, Si, throughout all of this is how big the breaks have been. Okay, Christophe goes in off there, but you look at the split he's leaving. For someone like Sean Chipperfield, this is a quick finish. There's not too much traffic around. All the balls are darted towards pockets, and I think that's been a reason that the pace has been so quick. Whether they end up keeping that up throughout this session compared to the first session, I doubt it, but if any 2 people probably could, it would be Christophe Lambert and Sean Chipperfield. I mean, it has gone slightly wrong here to start off. Just slightly wrong-sided on both reds that he was targeting. Wanted to come a bit straighter on the top one to the top left. And because of that, he's had to come down the table. So there is one piece of work for Sean to do here. And he tried to go up for it straight away. It's not great. Can still cut this back, but chances of losing the white here are quite high. Just because he needs to slip past the yellow that he's closest to. He needs to avoid the in-off. He needs to avoid the 2 yellows that are together. And there's just so much traffic that he'll do well to control this. Or has he lost it behind the yellow? He has. He can still cut back the thinner one, but once again, the same issue with the last shot. He's potentially losing the white here. Unless he can target the yellow that's left of the black, just to hit the white into full ball. Oh, he's not got through it. That's a mistake.
Yeah, fully expected him to get out there. There was nothing really in his way when he got him to the table.
He was just so cautious about losing the white to the top end of the table. He put as much drag into that white ball as possible, and because of that, the red didn't reach the pocket. And actually, rather ironically, I think if the red had dropped, he hadn't actually come far enough.
Extension call.
as it is, it's a brilliant opportunity for Lambert to get the counter and immediately put Sean under a bit of pressure, knowing that he should be one up in this second session.
Does have the one ball to deal with though. I'm absolutely certain here.
I mean, I wonder if he'd consider skill shotting it. I think he has got full play of the red. Should he be behind it?
Perfect on it if he wants to. He could play for the double as well, I suppose. But
I feel like now's the time. I feel like someone of Christoph's ability, if you're behind it like this, you should definitely be going for it. Oh, okay.
Loss of 10.
It's not too bad because Sean's not really got anywhere to hide here.
not that easy for Sean to try and play the same shot that Christoph was trying to play either. Yellow is a couple of turn, well, at least one turn away from the pocket.
I don't quite know where Sean goes here, does he? He has tried it, and he wasn't too far away.
Trying to be clever with the cue ball as well. Not quite worked out for him. Was trying to be on the 8 ball, but he gets an extra turn to the right. He hasn't left an easy pot on. Stopping here it is.
That's a lovely shot from Christoph. Because he was close to that. It's not always easy to cue through them, but...
Oh, no. No, no, no. Need to see that again. I think he throws this straight onto the jaw. Let's have a look.
Yeah, it was slightly to the left.
Hard to tell at the pace he hit it at. What a let-off for Sean Chipperfield.
Yeah, didn't quite get the oomph on that one. Yeah, see the cue ball just jumped up in the air. Wasn't the cleanest of contacts. And because of that, he comes up dry. So, opening opportunity for Sean Chipperfield. And he's going to go... Looks like he's going to go reds. The reason he opted for reds was just where the white ball was. That yellow that's closest to the middle on the bottom cushion just would have been a little bit tricky to land on, as well as the yellow on the 8 spot. So the reds required less work. He just had to nail his cue ball rather than having to make any cannons or play any suave positional shots. Good shot there. Wanted to come fairly straight on this. And this has been a bit more of the chippy that we saw in the first session. No mistakes, clean cue ball. And a 9-8 lead. Another big break from Christoph. Layout on reds isn't too bad.
You feel he needs to win this one. Can't afford to fall another behind. Have that game really start to separate out.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, I don't think Chippy's been at his absolute best here, but Chippy's definitely doing enough. If you fall 3 behind, first to 13 where Chippy only needs 2 more, that is still a long way back.
Red ball's in play.
Just think that red that's low of the yellow on the blue spot just slides into the left middle. If that is the case, then it does make his work a little bit easier. Otherwise it's actually slightly stranded in the middle. Too far? He's fine. Or is he fine?
He's got more angle than he wanted.
Yeah, I thought he was just going to pull up enough that he could have just rolled through, but actually he's a little bit higher than that.
Would have been a lot easier if he finished that far short than that far long.
What has he got there?
Yes.
Just.
It's got a lot of angle though. Not easy to get nicely on the 8 ball here.
Do you settle for distance with this? Do you just come down and maybe hit the yellow on the 8 spot? Give yourself that long distance black? Or do you try and force it round?
Just try and hold. Pressure on the 8 ball, 10-8 down. Race to 13. Strokes it home nice and easy. Christophe Lambert did what he needed to there.
Leading 11 frames to 10.
And here's chance number 1.
It's been a bit of a frustrating one for both players, I think. That it's just not quite happened, but
Sean's started experimenting, hasn't he, as the match has gone on. He was hitting the break better at the start than he is now, and starts to move that cue ball around and try and find something.
Extension called.
you know, speaking to Sean after the first session, he kind of mentioned how he felt like the table was playing a bit easier. And probably doesn't feel like that anymore.
Yellow ball's in play.
Yeah, he's certainly made some mistakes, hasn't he? More in this session than the previous one.
Christoph's got quite a nice opportunity on the yellows here. Pretty sure the yellow passes into the top left. There's a roll short here. He's come a little low. Wanted to be straighter on this so he could use the one over the middle to work up. Instead, he's going to have to go up with the next shot.
Doesn't really want to be flat on the cushion.
I think he's got a little bit of angle.
Not much.
Plays the one to the middle. Can he give himself the angle for the one to work down? That's the only thing that I'm a bit concerned about, because this is quite a thin angle.
Yeah, dead weight worked.
Played it really well. Yeah, I think he's just got enough angle, nice angle to work down. Was the only thing. It was landing on the 8 ball. Ever since he didn't land on this yellow right earlier on. It's pretty good. Yeah, nice recovery this.
Very good. Christophe Lambert gets himself all square once again to win this match. It's a brilliant break, but it's going to be dry. First chance to Chipperfield.
And Sean has got an immediate option to remove the problem yellow that's next to the 8 ball. This is as good an opportunity as you're going to get in a deciding frame.
Yellow ball's in play.
Yellow going there's quite nice. Becomes a good last ball. But he's got a few options for last ball. Absolutely perfect. Just got to be careful. There is room for the yellow above the cue ball now into the left centre. If he chooses to go that way, you've got to be careful to make sure it drops in without moving the other yellow. You feel that's the only thing that can really go wrong from here. You see there's loads of room as well.
Just half a roll short. Absolutely fine.
Controls himself back to perfect shape, doesn't he?
I think on reflection, I think if either of the players had gone through, you wouldn't have complained either way. But it is going to be Sean Chipperfield that just edges it.
Man of match, Sean Chipperfield.
Does indeed. Deciding frame victory for Sean Chipperfield. Not quite the standard of the first session. It got gritty, it got tough, but still some brilliant finishes in there. I feel like your pace is a good advantage in this form of the game as well, but not necessarily because of the match clock or anything like that, but at 4-1 down to Christophe, you were able to turn it around so quickly that Christophe is all of a sudden, it's hit him hard and hit him quick, rather than if you were taking twice as long to do that, it wouldn't quite hit as hard.
Yeah, it's almost like a money match kind of feel.
Yeah.
You know, they're race to 25s generally. This is double what we're used to playing, and yeah, you can just kind of fly through frames. You know, I've had a couple of money matches in my time, and the longer races I can sort of string 6 or 7 frames off in about 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And I know that can really hurt an opponent. So I know I've got that. I know, you know, how that can affect an opponent. You know, I've just got to keep doing it. But in terms of the style of play, like the fast-paced, if I am playing fast, that normally means that I'm seeing the ball well and I'm playing well.
Because it's all coming to you, you see it so quickly, yeah.
Yeah, and I just want to get on with it. You know, I think a lot of the time recently I've just sort of tried to be more precise and look to make sure where I want to be on the next ball, but I think I just need to stick to what I do, and that's play in areas and play for a choice of 2 or 3. Don't worry about the perfect pattern all the time, especially on this table, because patterns are less key on this table. You know, I said a couple of things earlier about this table. It's a bit frustrating coming on here after playing on the outside tables. You feel like you're playing a good, solid game of pool on the outside tables, and on here, you just feel like it's just a game of luck a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you've got to deal with it. It is the conditions. You know, look at Carl there. He's had a kick in off, and really. There's no work to do. Normally that yellow over the middle would be a little bit tricky, but it's a pretty simple double. He would have ideally liked to leave this yellow he's now going to play as his last ball, but he should still get out here. But yeah, that's my views on the conditions anyway.
Of course. Final question just before we let you go, because you're going to go and get yourself ready for your quarter final. Chris Day, Sean Story, how are you thinking about that one? I know you're not going to tell me who you'd rather play, but what are the records like against those two guys?
Probably not a lot in it. I know I've played Chris a few times. I know I've beat him a few, and I know he's beaten me as well. And I think Sean he beat me in the last man standing 2 years ago, and he also beat me in a double elimination losers side. But to be honest, my head weren't in the game for that one. So yeah, you know, is what it is. I'd say Chris is probably one of the most improved players over the last couple of years. Yeah. You know, he dedicates himself to it, and he's got his own routine which suits him.
Two Pro Series finals as well this year.
That's what I mean. That almost goes underhanded. Like every time you see him at a tournament, you just think he's going to go deep. Like, whereas, well, I mean, how's that dry? Kind of got a better contact with it. He looks a bit confused by it. Once again, nothing doing.
Having a good look here. I'm pretty sure this goes, especially with the pocket playing generous. Just slide it, pocket weight, shouldn't have an issue.
Oh, he hasn't hit it hard enough to reach.
Yeah, quite pocket weight.
Declan's got to find some hiding places here, because Carl's got balls over the top left, the top right, the right middle.
It's a brave loss of turn he's about to take on. It's a good shot. You saw him work it out. Not left anything easy.
Yeah, he has left Carl the cut, but obviously the way that is, he's going to have no control with the white ball. But he's going to attack it. Good pot. Flick on the yellow. Kind of helps him. He's got a plant. Big pocket with a red, so this is a makeable opportunity for Carl.
We have a result, finally, in the Chris Day Sean Story match, and it is Chris Day that has got over the line, 13-8. He has won. Sean's been going very well this year. Good result that for Chris. Highlighting the point that he is playing some of his best ball on the tour that he has done. So, great result for him. He moves on. Sean Chipperfield is his opponent in the next round.
Yeah, very good from Carl Sutton, this. Just lets Declan know that if he is going to miss any opportunities, he will be there to pounce.
The players to not be disturbed. Can't be again. It's going to be again.
Oh no!
He's hit the break brilliantly twice to be dry twice.
He's cursed himself here a bit as Deck.
Tricky layout. Yellows look obvious, but there's one bad ball on the yellows. Yellow furthest right is guarded. Not easy to play yellow off the red to open it up that way. So he's probably looking at a breakout shot.
He might have a big pocket for the red in the middle, in which he might utilise one of these yellows to potentially cut into, possibly. He's gone a different route. Maybe he's looking at using the top cushion and attacking it that way, knowing that if he hits the yellow, he's likely to leave the one next to it into the top left corner. Or is he maybe looking at yellow off red?
It's delicate if that's what he's playing.
Because the red's quite far from the pocket, isn't it? It's not.
I think he's just going to play into it. Yeah. It's not worked.
I never really saw that as an option. Just because they were off parallel, it never looked like he was going to generate the power from the white to be able to pump that yellow out.
Yeah, I don't think that was his original plan. I think he had other ideas, didn't quite get there after the first shot, then the second shot, so now he's put himself into trouble.
The only option he's got now, yeah, is to pot this, leave himself an angle and kind of screw off the top cushion and get there. This is tough. He's left himself close to the cushion with this as well. I don't really see a way you can move this. Or you can really land on it. So he's opted to play safe.
Not a great safety. Declan can just tuck him behind if he wants to. Gets the snooker and takes control of the frame.
Just kind of ran out of ideas, didn't Carl? Just. He's had a decent result. Yellow just covering the red.
A poor shot from Declan.
Yeah, and he knows it as well.
It's just gone off the boil from 4-1 up. Just a hint, isn't it?
I think it was that anger, wasn't it? It was just thrown him a little bit. He never expected to mess up that double. And Carl's played a brilliant breakout shot there. Okay, he's not perfect, but to give yourself a shot at it from there was pretty good. because he was ultra thin on that yellow to the middle. You can just see it playing on Declan's mind.
Used it all, but in it drops. Hampered queuing 8 ball for parity. It goes all square.
Break is just still killing Carl. Still can't make a ball. And this split is probably better than most of the recent ones. An easy opening shot. Has got the yellow into the left middle, but not got a nice angle to land on the next ball.
Might just be able to go into the yellow off the top cushion or slide by it. Both will work. You can almost sense that sort of bounce in his step. Just, you know, he was getting a little bit frustrated when he lost 3 straight, wasn't he? From 4-1, 4-4. Just, you saw him bang his cue, just hint of frustration. But all of a sudden, won a couple of frames, including a very scrappy one, and, well, 9-4's here for the taking.
You know, when I did my work out in Ultimate Pool Island with Pierce Sharrett, obviously we got to see a lot of Declan in the Last Man Standing. Well, actually, we didn't see a lot of Declan in the Last Man Standing, but obviously we've seen a lot of him in other events. What Declan is so good at, and I think it's one of the reasons that he is one of the best players in the world, is there is no better player that if he's having a bad occasion of just stepping out the room, coming back and just finding that form again. He did that exact thing against Chris Melling as well in the final of the Champions League. And when he took that break and came back, he played his best stuff.
I agree. He's playing some great pool, and he's thinking clearly, doing the right things. And this is for a 9-4 lead overnight. Sorry, that is a fantastic performance.
Sean was on the stream earlier on. Good victory against Christophe Lambert. It was a siding frame. Chris Day coming through. A bit more of a local clash against former practice partner Sean Story. Not the ideal start there for Sean Chipperfield. Makes a ball, but also makes the white ball. From initial lookout, the yellows look pretty good. It's just about landing on the one closest to the cushion, you think. And from there, I'd expect Chris to get out. And he's done exactly that straight away. One place that it gets a little bit awkward is if you leave yourself hampered, and I think Chris just rolled his eyes at that a little bit. Doesn't need to do too much with this white ball, just got to push it through a little bit. And he should be on the outer yellow to left middle. That's very good. From here, ignoring anything silly, Chris should be going 1-0 up. Yeah, very good start from Chris Day.
Right, ball's flying in.
Sure.
Lost control, but he's hit it well enough.
He actually changed his break there. He was breaking with hand on the table. He's put his hand right back on the back of the cushion now. And it just seemed that he could generate that bit more power with it.
Yeah, that's what he said when he came into the studio after the last match. He said that putting his hand on the table was his way of controlling it, but it didn't really work. That was what he was going to have to try and figure out. He said he doesn't need the extreme power on this table. Looked tricky on the right hand side. 2 shots in, the work's done. His turn to be a touch short on the 8 ball, not as badly as Chris was. Still fairly comfortable. No mistakes with it. So a good break clearance for Sean Chipperfield this time.
That was big as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, slight change from the break he was using at the start of the match. Coming a little bit wider.
Did he cut break that? Yeah, he did.
Yeah. I wasn't sure because I think the previous one he tried, I don't know if he completely mishit it or he was trying to cut break the front ball on the previous break, but this one it was very much just a normal cut break.
It's quite dangerous as well, that the way that he plays it as well, because obviously he's almost stood up on the shot, he's trying to generate the power, and that's normally when you get that jump like he did when he made the massive break at the start of the match. Obviously any jump on a cut break you're going to see the white flying off the table, so it's maybe a risky mix, but thus far it seems to have worked for him. That's a lovely shot.
Station code.
Would he wanted to have left the red on the right side cushion? I suppose he's okay, he can get down to it now.
It's not too bad. Maybe
He's not there.
I was a little bit interested in the fact that he left that red at the top earlier on. I felt like he could have played it rather than playing the cannon that he did straight away. But bad. This has got to be played with some good control. Easy to lose this white.
It just sort of went wrong when he couldn't get on that ball on the cushion earlier. We saw in the previous match with Declan Brennan and Carl Sutton, it felt tight and it felt like it was going to be tight, but then the shackles came off for Declan at the end and think Chris right now just needs to guard against it. 4 frames left. If he was to lose all 4, it'd be 9-4 down. Essentially what happened at the back end of the previous match where Declan won 5 straight.
Yeah, because when you look at the running of this match, Chris having that 3-1 lead, he's essentially lost from that point 5-1, which I'm sure probably won't play on Chris's mind too much, but he will be aware of the fact that Sean's dictated a bit more of the play in recent frames. Yeah, I think especially as Chris went ahead early as well, I think you've got to be realistic in your ambition. You know, it wasn't the fact that, I mean, Sean did have a bit of a slow start, but Chris had a very good start, and you've got to be prepared that your opponent at some point is going to have a bit of run at the table. So the fact that Chris had that early, I feel like Sean's, you know, from there won 6-1, which obviously is a big change. Big momentum swing.
6-2, wasn't it? It was 3-1, wasn't it?
Yes, 6-2, my apologies.
Still a good turnaround for him, and he's got an opportunity to make it 7-2.
Yeah, I mean, 8-5 from here would be a great result for Sean. For Chris, it wouldn't be damning, but at the same time, it would be enough to probably play on his mind overnight.
A lot of thinking was done there by Sean Chipfield. In the end, he's decided he doesn't fancy the finish. Can't blame him for that. But really, problems again at both ends of the table.
Good pot. Nicely come round. Main issue now is going to be the 8-ball. You feel, I think the red at the top's not too bad because it's got quite a nice ball to come across for it. Oh, wow.
Yellow first. Didn't look like it was that tight, in all honesty.
No.
Just a misjudgment.
I mean, once again, similar to the last frame, that black and yellow together are horrible for Sean. He did play a very good screw shot to get ball out earlier today. Went for it again, got the 8 out, but not the yellow. It was tough to get both of them out. And once again, Sean's going to have to chase this a little bit. Don't know if you can see the yellow into the bottom right. If he can't, it's a very thin snick in the middle. As well, where he's developed that 8, has covered the natural angle for a double as well, so there's no really real available pot unless he moves it or lands behind it and plays it all the way down the rail, which would be a horrible shot.
He's going to try and do something though.
He's got to do something now.
Can't really pull back.
potentially just drop this in and play a very tough.
How calm is that, by the way? The beep start and he continues to walk around the table to have a look, doesn't turn around.
I'm just wondering, I think it would have been nice if he'd had another half a roll on this. If I could have backed anyone from a similar angle to this to screw it off the top cushion and somehow get into that yellow, it would have been Sean Chipperfield. Because he gets serious action on that white ball. Instead, maybe a double now. If he screws it, I think he can straighten the yellow up enough. Talking a double into the top left. No. Looking at the yellow at the bottom. Yeah, that was small chance.
Where's he going now?
Your guess is as good as mine. Maybe 2 cushions in the left middle. I just don't. Yeah, I don't see an easy way. Or he did go for the double. Just a little surprised he just didn't take the shot before, if it was there, because that felt like a more realistic chance of making that ball, and you always had the yellow on, rather than playing what was essentially probably a 1 in 20 positional shot. Fairly sure that Chris will be a relieved man if he gets out 7-6, because there were a lot of signs at 4-3 that this could have quickly got away from him. He's hung in there, having not really played his best stuff, and he's 3 balls away from being 1 behind at the break.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, I know he was 3-1 up, but you feel like he's been hanging on. 7-6, all to play for.
I think what Chris has got to be aware of is that it's likely tomorrow that the balls are going to be less scrappy. So he knows when he gets his chances, he's going to have to take more of them. Sean let him off the hook in a couple. But you just know that tomorrow's another day. And this 8 ball for 7-6.
It is. Really intriguing session of pool. I wasn't expecting it to play out that way. Split sessions as it has been all the way through the tournament, as I'm sure you are all aware. First time we've seen Craig in action this weekend. Come through the field fairly quietly and smoothly. Saw the reds go. Wants it to go to the bottom left. That's what he's looking at, because he's quite straight here. But if not, it does go bottom right. You have to rework it.
bit of angle on this, does Craig. He's a little bit straight. Should be fine, but be a bit careful. He lands on this red bottom. Beautiful. Nice 8 ball for the opening frame. And that is 1-0 to Craig Waddingham.
I believe it's 8 straight on this table. Craig Burns is
Another
has
ball.
a chance for a 9th.
Oh, has he got the red?
He's got a red. He's okay here, actually. He'd rather have a yellow, I believe, but he doesn't. The reds aren't terrible. Red nearest bottom left-hand corner. You make that off the cushion, off the yellow. It's like it's a delicate first shot, not the pot. Get the cue ball out.
Red ball's in play.
Chose not to, so he's got the clip back. Could have topped it forward, but it was a very small window to get onto yellow right centre on the big pocket.
In a weird way, I think the in-off play is quite big here, so that's why he's digging it.
Oh, he mixed both.
Oh, I don't know if that's helped or hindered him though, really.
Don't think it's helped him.
Unless he can see the red into the bottom corner, actually it's not too bad.
Where's he going?
Don't know, it wasn't the line he intended. I think he tried to...
He was playing on the ball he's on. I think he's just playing for it from the middle of the table. Maybe he was playing the cannon on the yellow and got too deep. But he would have been playing for this ball.
This is a tough shot. This is a tough shot. He's got a bit of angle. He hasn't got a lot of it. So he's going to have to pump this. Yeah, and there you go. Not happy.
Missed it on the straight side, which is like a slight surprise because he wanted to get the cue ball across the table. So tendencies just to overcut that.
But this was what I was saying, you know, that Jordan wasn't going to be able to keep that up forever. And that Craig just had to hold him patient and pounce when he got his chance. This is the chance. Going 4-2 down would probably get in Jordan's head a little bit for all the work he's done today. So, opportunity for Craig to cause Jordan a bit of an issue. Really put that mentality up to the test.
Two-frame advantage for the first time. Craig Waddingham 4-2 in front.
Oh, has he got one more in the tank for tonight? No. Well, for Jordan, this feels like last chance saloon. 10-3, game over. Really? 9-4. If he comes out tomorrow flying, he's still got a chance.
Yeah, it's a race to 14, remember, so Craig would still need 5, okay? He's a long way behind, but he's capable to do to Craig what Craig has just done to him. So this is a very important frame for Jordan Shepherd. Because he should get these. They are there.
Yeah, this is bread and butter for what we've seen Jordan clear already today. But as I say, for the evening he's had so far, don't take it for granted.
Surprised he's not trying to get rid of the one over the top left.
Boy, I think he's looking at it now. Well, he's changed his mind. Yeah, I'm a little surprised as well.
So does that mean he's going to play into the red, or is he
I feel like he's got to.
playing a double, maybe? I'm really shocked he's left these two back to back.
Yeah. Well, he tried to cannon it. I mean, he's got it, but
It's a lovely shot. It really is. I'm just surprised by his route. He obviously had a reason for that. Didn't like the angle he had for some reason.
yeah. I think sometimes you almost second guess yourself, don't you, when you're having a bit of a bad match. Oh my God.
He's okay. He's okay.
I mean,
Bit of a stretch,
yeah,
but it will
I mean,
be no problem.
I mean, I can't believe he played across that either, but he's got there.
He has indeed. It's a fantastic performance. It really is. It's a exhibition of break clearing and reverse clearing, and Jordan and Rich Rhodes are going to have a few words at the end. Fairly plain sailing for Jack, making it through the field so far. Thanks largely to breaks like that. He really does have one of the very, very best in the game. And he's going to get the first opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, you know what you're going to get with these two. Jack, huge break. Has a very good tactical nous, but also the ability to run off 5-6 in a row. Chris, he's known as the magician for a reason. He's a shot maker. He's a big clearance taker. And he's one of the quickest on the tour as well. So, you know, chances are that this could potentially be a very quick session. Supposing that the balls come out nice for both players. And Jack has a good opportunity here to get the first frame on the board.
Jack a little bit more measured with his pace around the table, certainly not slow. Just taking his time to work out the pattern. They are all there. Just has to work out which way he wants to go back around them.
Referee just having a couple of coughs, Jack just checking in on him, making sure he's okay. Yeah, he can just play down for the area here. If he plays somewhere near the blue spot, he'll have the red into the bottom right, and then the red into the left middle. Has he just come a little bit too far?
Yeah, slightly strange way of playing that.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't just kind of almost try and just stump past the 8. Yeah,
Very strange.
early mistake.
Yeah. I thought he'd be dropping that in as dead weight as possible.
And Chris just going to take advantage here just to get his balls off the cushion. I only managed to get one off, but we'll take the result. Oh, that's an effort. It's unlucky it just flicked the yellow.
Did it?
I think it did.
Referee's not calling it.
Oh, no, it's in like the red flicked the yellow.
Oh, I see. Sorry, I thought you were saying that was a foul. I was like, am I seeing something?
It's been a long evening, isn't it?
Yeah, I was like, what? I know I'm starting to get tired, but yeah.
Yeah, opportunity for Chris now just to run through this frame. Slightly overhit. Can just play this one off the top cushion with a bit of side. Get back to where he was. That's loose.
Yeah, not hit two bad shots on the trot there.
It's a really interesting start. It's not what we would have expected from the two of them.
Beautiful recovery.
Yeah, it's class.
Lovely pot with a trace of running side just to hit the gap and land plumb. One nil.
Part the cue ball, but has he made a ball? No.
Didn't seem to strike that one as well. Plenty to think about here for Jack.
I mean, I don't even know which ball set you go, really. I mean,
Well, if the yellow red's a plan on the right hand side, then you could see the reds. You'd have to obviously play a red into that or play the cue ball into that. So I think reds is the call. Jack thinks reds is the call.
oh, he very nearly missed the opening pot. Trying to get position. That's an effort. But you are right, that plant does look close, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So I'm almost a bit surprised maybe he hasn't looked at it, or maybe it is just to the bottom jaw.
It doesn't have the great ball to do it with, I think, is the problem. Time to pull back. Yellows are no good. So just pull back, try and win a tactical exchange and get a better opportunity. Patience required here for Chris, I think. You can tell he's scanning the table. How do I force an opening?
Feels like it rolled on him, drifted on him, and because of that he's not hidden that cue ball.
Happy just to open it up. There's only one really bad ball for Chris Melling, and he's got a yellow inside it, and just two underneath his cue there. That's not that tough for Chris. That was, well, a risky play from Jack.
I wonder if Jack doesn't want to get too embroiled in a tactical frame that he knows he's in a disadvantage of. I'm not saying he's obviously just trying to get the frame over with, but at the same time he knows it's eating into the clock. He knows that the reds are at a disadvantage. Is he maybe just trying to incentivize Chris to go just to get the frame moving?
I think he had a plan that wasn't obvious. I don't think he'd be thinking like that, because reds and yellows are fairly even here.
Chris obviously believes he's got a big pocket with this. Does.
Doesn't want to move that. Oh, he's not on anything. He didn't want to move that yellow on top of the other. Worse than that, he's not on a ball here.
And if it wasn't a plant before, I think it might be now. Just that little nudge, I think, push that yellow even closer to the red. That's a good effort. Could he maybe have a go here? If that red just drops in the right middle pocket, seems a bit risky, but no. You know, I actually think he might have been.
I do as well. I think he was trying to get that slightly thicker and
Plant it on with the white.
Yeah.
Just wondered, before he went for that, he had quite a nice angle on the red on the left hand side, that if he'd kind of topped through with a bit of side and played it at a fairly medium pace, I think he would have got the cannon on the red. Just wondered if that would have been an option for him, but was just trying to widen the angle a bit more to get that yellow moving. Didn't quite do it.
Really tough frame for both. They both want to try and make it happen and neither can.
It's tough out there when the balls aren't there, that's the thing. No matter who you are, whether you're a Jack Whelan or a Chris Mellon, if things don't pop, then you've got to kind of work around it. It's a nice little touch off the jaw for Jack. Leaves that red in a prime position for potentially moving the red. Or even for giving himself the angle to move the red. He's just looking there, he wants to come just short of the bulk line. Oh, he's decided to go a little bit thicker. This is tough though, because you've got to get some movement on this red. You can't just nudge it to free it. Wow. He deserves to be on it.
I think he is as well. Had to arc it around.
Yeah.
Injected so much pace. Spin.
This is a tough shot, but he's deserved a shot at it. Oh, no.
Fucking Jesus Christ.
Ooh. Apologies for the language, but you can see he's not happy out there, and I don't blame him. It's not the natural game for either player, and finally gets an opportunity, and it's just he's not had a good bit of luck there, really. Okay, he had a shot at it, but probably deserved to be a bit nicer on it when he got the cannon, but as it is, it's going to cost him, and Chris Mellon's going to go 2 in front at 4-3.
4-2.
4-2.
Long day.
Yeah.
What have you got? 8 frames played. 5 to go. That's a good break from Jack Whelan.
Yeah, this is what Jack needs. Jack just needs an open frame to run at, just to get his confidence back, and just to get rid of any demons that are kicking around in his head at the moment from previous frames. Although that isn't the ideal first shot, he's still fine, but definitely wanted to be on the one to the left middle next. At least that is what his intention was.
He's playing. He's so far away from what he's trying to do there. I reckon he might have even been playing for that into left centre, and he got into it too much. In fact, he went top left, was okay, but I don't think that's where he was playing it. Just going by his body language and reaction.
And the weird thing is, he's probably going to break and dish this, but it's actually, because he's had those couple of weird positional shots, it's not going to instill confidence in him at all. He's still going to probably assess this frame as, I haven't got the table right.
At 7-3 in terms of the overall target, which is 14. But a big 3 frames coming up here.
And they are definitely bigger for Jack at the moment, because, to be fair to Chris, despite all the frustrations that could have kicked in for him, he still seems like a very cool customer out there, whereas with Jack's got body movement, he's got emotions flowing,
To be fair to Chris, he never gives anything away in his chair. He's very good. He sits there and basically in the pose he's in now. Doesn't lean back and sit in the arena like Jack does, or a lot of other players. He sits there like that. When he's at the table, he will show frustration after the fact straight away, but then quickly he's like, okay, I am where I am, let's get on with it. Tough out this on yellows. If he has to clear the yellow nearest the top right before he can play the one by the red, that makes that tricky. Might even move into the yellow by the red, possibly not from being on the cushion, so he won't do it this shot.
Well, he's got the thinner one, so he'll take the one closest to the pocket, and
I don't think he'll try and move it. It's what I was getting to.
Yeah, it's fine.
He's perfect to track behind that yellow now, but if he does that, he might not be able to get onto this one too nicely. So, going to get himself back onto the same line. Doesn't want to go past the straight, and he hasn't. Best unless playing into the red gets you on the 8-ball.
I think it does. Well, it obviously didn't, but
screwed down off it. He wasn't going into it thick enough to worry.
This was a big finish from Jack. Well, there you go. That was a rifle. Top spin caught.
More than he normally gets on. Gives you that top spin break where it comes back and the top spin parks it in the middle of the table. That really had some on.
Tell you what, if he gets the first shot right here, he's out.
That's pretty much do.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty much it, really. He's looking at left centre. Surely he's just going to go top right and drop it in, and then it's natural connections around the reds.
Yeah. I think maybe the only thing that he was a little bit worried about there is the situation where he is now, where obviously he's playing cushion to cushion. That's something, but in reality, the natural is going to give him an angle that's straight enough that he can land on the one to middle, so there's not really any harm doing. He's just got to pot the ball. There you go. Okay, worst case scenario, he's maybe a little bit wider than we thought, but he could even play this down the line. He's straight on it. For someone of Chris's ability, I'd back him to get it. There you go. Very good. And what did I say? Big finish when he needed it. After being exhausted from a full day's pool, you need to be ready to go tomorrow. And is Jack going to have the time to reset overnight and come back tomorrow and get a victory out of this? I don't think so.
Well, I don't know, because the reason 9-4, your opponent still needs to win 5 frames. It's not over.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not. I'm sorry, I'm not meaning it in that way, but looking from a likely sense, less than a is it realistically possible for someone of Jack's ability, I'm thinking more in the case of, is Jack going to be up for the task tomorrow the way that he's been tonight? Don't know. Is Jordan going to be the same? You know,
I think they could both turn up and buzz tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I think that obviously the first few frames become huge because you need to get a couple back to let your opponent know that you're still there.
I just think that, looking at it, I just feel like Craig just had that bit more energy after a long day's pool than anybody else. Even than Declan, and Declan played well.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
It's a bit straight. Wanted to come slightly higher of the red to work down. Played a nice one there. Bunch of side to fling it off of 2. And then one more nice positional shot, just aiming where his cue is on that line. And he should get out in this frame.
It's been a good finish from Chris Melling. No doubt. It's not been the match we expected, but there's been some good quality in there with some mistakes mixed in. It's a very frustrated Jack Whelan who finds himself 5 frames behind. Chris Melling 9-4 in front. 3 of our quarterfinals are all poised at 9-4, the other at 7-6.